This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this Flagstaff E-Pro Model 19 FDS. It's a 2021 model. Okay, this one has a power converter, which most trailers do. It also has a power inverter, which does the opposite of a converter. Obviously, a converter converts AC to DC power. An inverter converts DC to AC power. So you've got a solar panel on the roof there. You can just see the edge of it. Okay. Your antenna has a complete, basically anything broadcast over the airwaves it picks up. Plus it has a built-in antenna for a Wi-Fi signal booster, so it does that also. So we'll go over that. This is not a floor plan video. This is not a sales video. It's not a polished production. It's just me showing you some of the features of this trailer and how they work, just so you get a better idea. That's all it's meant to do. Okay, so here we are. So first of all, of course, we've got regular stabilizer jacks. Takes a 3/4 inch crank or a 3/4 inch socket on a drill. Now this is where you access your water pump and your water filter canister. It comes with a water filter, and the canister is empty now. It's just filled with water, but if you want, you can insert the filter that comes with it into the canister. You get a wrench with it also. Now the thing is, that filter lasts a year, so you basically would put one in after you de-winterize in the spring, and then you use it all season and then throw it out right before you winterize in the fall or early winter, whatever. Okay, so that's behind there. It's held in with one screw. It's a number 2 square-headed screw. Okay, and these are the hookups to it. I'll show you that when I come around. Okay, so the grill, which hangs here on this rail, there's a table that goes here plus a griddle. It plugs right into this quick connect down here. You see the LP quick connect, so you have to plug it in there. Your water heater. Now the switches are inside, except for, you should know about this switch right here. Now this is a rocker switch on and off, if you can see it. What it does, it controls the power to the 110 AC heating element that's behind this cover. So that's what that switch is for. There's another switch inside, but I just want you to know that there is a secondary switch right there. It makes it very difficult to turn it on to accidentally turn it on. Like if you don't have water in the tank, you can't turn that on because it'll only take a minute or so to burn out the heating element. So keep that in mind anyway. You never run it without water in it. Also, this is the drain right here. It's an 1/16" 6-point socket that goes on here, and there's an anode rod attached to it also, just so you know. I'll show you the other switches when we get inside. Okay, now you've got a power awning with LED strip. You've got outside speaker. Your stairs fold right into the trailer, and you can adjust the length of the legs by, I'm trying to see, oh there it is right there, by pushing this lever up right here. There's one on each side. Okay, this is just some storage here. This is your stabilizer crank there. That is the hose to hook up your grill right there. Okay. And this is empty right now. I think it's just more storage. Yes, more storage. This is to hook up, if you wanted to purchase a solar panel just to charge your battery, it would plug in right there. This is one's made by Go Power. Okay, so you have a power tongue jack with a hitch light on it. Now if this jack was to fail for one reason or another, you can pull this rubber plug out and you can crank it manually using the same crank you use for your stabilizers. You could also use a 3/4 inch socket on an electric drill also to run it up and down. It's just something for emergencies too, though. Now you have 2 deep cycle marine batteries. They're wired together as one battery, so it's considered one big battery. Basically there's 2 batteries, so you double the storage capacity, but it's considered one battery. Okay. Now also one more thing right there is a kill switch for your battery. So If you want to disconnect it when you put it in storage, you can do that. You got 2 LP tanks with an automatic changeover regulator. Okay. More storage. That's just a wheel. You have a foot on it now, but that's a wheel. Okay. So you can move it around your driveway or whatever. 2 people can wing this all over the place, as long as it's on asphalt or concrete. Anyway, so the most common way to get water to the trailer is your city water hookup. This right here is the fill for your fresh water tank. So if you're staying at a campground or a campsite that does not have plumbing on it, you can pre-fill the onboard water tank and just pump the water using the onboard pump. So everything will work just like you have city water, even if you don't. Most of the time you'll be using city water, which is on the back of the trailer. I'll show you that in 1 minute. Okay. And this is your, some more of your stuff. That's a adapter to adapt your 30 amp cord to a 15 or 20 amp. That is your dump hose right there. Underneath here is this white gate valve is your dump valve for your fresh water tank. That tube right there is where you hold your dump hose at after it's been used. All right. You look inside here, just more storage. It looks like, yes. Okay, so just so you know, the slide room you have here, the slide out is called a Schwintek. It's owned by Lippert now, but people still refer to it as a Schwintek. So in case you need to know, or if somebody asks you, that's what you have for a slide out. All right, so your dump valves are right here, your gray valve, and then your black valve for your black tank. The black tank is toilet water and waste. The gray valve is sink and shower water. So you dump the black tank first, because it's the dirtiest of water, and then you use the gray to wash it out a bit. After you do that, you can leave your valve open, and you can come back here and hook your hose at your dump station onto this one right here, and that'll flush out your black tank really well, okay? This is the city water connection right here. That's the most common way to get water to the trailer. And this has to do with winterizing. So if you took this panel off that's here, right, by the water pump and the canister and all that, there'll be a valve that you can switch. And basically what it does, it switches between, so the water pump will, in one position, will draw from the water tank, the fresh water tank, right? If you put it in the other position, it'll draw through this hose here. Therefore, or this port here. Therefore, you could put a hose on here and put the other end into a gallon of antifreeze, and that's how you suck the antifreeze into the system when you're winterizing. Okay, and that's just cable and satellite through. Outside shower, you're pre-wired for a backup camera, of course. We do sell them here if you're interested. The ladder makes it easy to inspect the roof. You have to inspect the roof every 90 days. So you go up there or have someone else go up there if you're not comfortable. Be very careful. Just check all the sealant for cracking and separation. Check the roofing material and the vent covers for damage from low branches or what have you. So just give it a good inspection. If you see any issues, take care of it immediately. This is your 30 amp, 30 foot cord, of course. All right. Okay, so let's go inside here where the air conditioning's going. So you also have a electronic lock. In your paperwork, it'll tell you what the default code is. So you put in the default code and then you can make up your own, or you can just use the key. Okay, so right now they have the Murphy bed in the down position, which is kind of unusual, but that's just be the way the person who prepped it, that's the way he did it. Let me get some lights here. Okay, so this is your panel right here. Of course, those are the light switches I just turned on. This is your slide out switch right here. This is the power awning switch. Never leave the power awning off or out unattended, so always roll it in if you're not going to be there. To turn your water pump on, you do that. This water pump is for pumping water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have city water, and you also use it to winterize the trailer. To light your water heater on gas is right there. To light it on electric is right there. Remember I told you there's a second switch out there and outside in the lower left hand corner for the electric also, okay? Also, you can use an app for this panel, okay? And then you have your levels. Batteries charged, fresh water tank has water in it, black tank is empty, gray tank is empty. As it fills, it graduates up in 1/3 increments. It'll light up as it goes. So once you get past 2/3, you're gonna start thinking about dumping the gray in the black tank. Okay. All right. So let me look. This is your griddle and the shelf I told you that hangs on there, the table. Okay. Normally this would be in the up position, but this is just how they set it up for me this time. So. This here is your power inverter. Now, if you're not inverting power, you want to shut it off. Just like that. Okay? There's no reason to invert power if you're not using it. You're just pulling power out of the battery to turn into AC power. So remember what I said, you may know all this, but an inverter converts power from DC to AC. So it takes 12 volt DC, turns it into 110 AC. Now there's only going to be one plug in this trailer that is wired for AC power to be inverted. I don't see a sticker on here, but I bet that it's this one here. We can let you know when you come to pick it up for sure. I didn't prep this trailer like I said, but it's usually this one right here. You cannot run all the AC appliances in here off the batteries. They'll just run down, even on a sunny day. So, for example, you can't run the air conditioner off of inverted power. You'd have to be plugged in, just so you understand that. Okay, and also I showed you the inverter. That's the button for the inverter right there to turn it off. Always leave it off unless you're inverting. So this is the power converter. This does the opposite of the inverter. It turns AC to DC power. So you start off with 110 AC over here. You got regular circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're all labeled, right? Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here. You can see you got the regular 12 volt fuses here. This supplies all the 12 volt to your trailer when you're plugged in. When you're not plugged in, the 12 volts will be coming from your batteries, and the batteries are being charged by the solar panel or the alternator on your tow vehicle. So 3 ways for the battery to get power. This is a battery tender also, so this will send so much energy your battery needs and send up what it needs. If it's charged, it'll just trickle a couple amps up, or if it needs more, it'll send 10 amps, whatever. But so when you're plugged into shore power, this will charge your battery, 12 volts. When you're pulling it down the road, the tow vehicle's alternator will charge the battery. And then when the sun's out, the solar panels will charge the battery. Okay. Now the way to keep an eye on that is up here on your control panel or monitor, whichever you prefer. So right now, first of all, there's not 2 batteries. There's just B, because like I told you, they're wired together as one battery. So you just worry about B. This is the one you're going to push. So let's do it. You have a flooded battery, just so that's the type. Right now your batteries are at 100%. All right, 117 amp hours. Right? They have 13.7 volts right now in the batteries, which is perfect. That's exactly what you want. You push it again, and this is the sun, and this is your solar panel here. You see the arrow going that way, so it's telling us right now it's just getting 0.3 amps from the sun, putting in the battery. It has a lot to do with the angle of the sun right now, and it's also slightly cloudy. I can see the clouds kind of rolling in, but this can go all the way up to 9.0, and it's common to see it between 4 and 5 point whatever. So keep that in mind. So that's how many amps are going into your battery from the sun right now. Also, if you need to charge a phone or something in an emergency, this USB here, this will allow the solar panel to charge your phone. Okay. All right, great. So your TV works like any other TV. It's got a disc player on the side. Okay. Your radio, keep in mind that you can stream off this USB right here. Take all your albums with you on one stick. You can stream using Bluetooth from your phone or your tablet. Okay, you can. It has AM/FM radio on it. It has 2 speaker zones, 1 and 2. 1 is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. And this is covered up right now, but you can pull that rubber plug out, and that is a HDMI in. So if you wanted to go into the system with, just say, a game machine or something to keep kids busy on a rainy weekend, for example, you can set it on the table, plug it in, and put it right into the system going into there. Okay? Or anything else you want to go into the system with. All right. Now this right here is the switch for your Wi-Fi Ranger. I told you this had a Wi-Fi booster in it for public Wi-Fi. So I don't know if you can see this. Let me turn my monitor a bit. There's a sticker right here. The top row of the sticker says Tenton 2163. That's what your Wi-Fi Ranger is called. So when you look at the, you go to your phone, you go into Wi-Fi, you look until you see this Tenton 2163, and you know that's your Wi-Fi Ranger. So you would put a password for you and all your family's devices, phones and tablets, whatever, so it hooks up to the Wi-Fi Ranger automatically. Then the bottom line says control panel, and then there's you can type this address into a browser, and it'll take you to the control panel page for this Wi-Fi Ranger. To get into it, the temporary password has changed me now 2163, so you got to pick your own password out. Basically, when you go to that page, you'll be able to see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. So you look around until you spot the campground Wi-Fi, and if they give you a password number, then you would just log into it. And so what you're doing is all your devices connect to the Wi-Fi Ranger automatically. So when you get where you're going and you want to use public Wi-Fi, you go to this page, the control panel page, you pick out the Wi-Fi you want to hook up to and just do it that way. So you really only have to hook one thing up to it. It's a signal booster. It's got a firewall built in. It's a good product. Now keep in mind, this does have a second feature, but it's a cellular feature. But you would have to pay for a SIM card, just like you would if you got another, if you got another device for your, for your cellular contract. You would do that. You'd have to pay your monthly fee for this if you wanted cellular. Most people just use the public Wi-Fi feature. Also, let this warm up for a minute or two before you try and find the device on your phone. Okay. All right. So I showed you the converter. This device here is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. It's glowing green like it should. Now this will alert you to a carbon monoxide leak. It'll alert you to a LP gas leak. And also, if it beeps very, very slowly, it's telling you your battery's low. So let me set it off for you so you can hear it. That's LP test. Now carbon monoxide coming up. Okay, and now the low battery alert. Okay, and back to green. It should always be green. Obviously, if it alerts, you're going to take everybody outside. You're going to shut or open the door, leave it open, shut the gas off at the front, and figure out what's going on. Okay. All right. Your table obviously drops down, and you can turn it into a bed. Your refrigerator is a 12-volt DC compressor refrigerator. Okay. So keep that in mind. This will run when you're plugged in. It runs off of your alternator. I'm sorry. It runs off your power converter. When you're towing it down the road, it'll run off the batteries, which are being charged by your tow vehicle's alternator. Okay. All right. So let me see what else I've got here. Just a regular cooktop. You just turn it on and light it. Make sure you keep these shut when you're traveling. Okay. The microwave works like any other microwave. It's a convection type, but it works like the rest of them. This is your thermostat here. To shut off the furnace, this is strictly for the furnace. To shut the furnace off, you click it all the way over to the left like that until you hear it click. Keep that. That's important. And of course, the controls for your AC are on the air conditioner itself. Okay, so while we're here, this has been programmed already. This is a tire and wheel monitor. This will tell you the air pressure of your tires and the temperature of your wheels. The wheels have a built-in sensor. The sensor is directly across the circle, the wheel, from the stem, right? So you go to the valve stem and go straight across, and that's where you're going to find the monitor that's attached to the inside of the wheel. So if this picks up from the monitor and displays it on the screen, you would take this into your tow vehicle with you. If you get a backup camera for it, you'll have a screen for that too, if you're interested in that. So, okay. All right, so let me look around a little bit more, see if I forgot anything. Okay, so the sink and the shower work like any of the sink and shower, except let me shut this here. This device here is called a water miser. It's right here. So what this does It's basically a recirculating pump or loop, I guess you would call it. So the idea is, while you're heating up the hot water, while you're waiting for hot water to get to the shower head, it just instead of just dumping it down the drain into the storage tank, it'll just keep looping it around till it heats up. When this changes color, I think this one will turn a light blue, but I'm not positive on that, but it'll be noticeable. You'll know it in a minute. You can, when you see that, it means the water's heated up. You'll go to regular operation, and it'll work just like the normal shower does. The idea is you're not going to be wasting water in like a drought area, for example. You're not going to be wasting water heating it up. And also, you're not going to be wasting space in your gray tank by sending perfectly good water down the drain because you're waiting for it to warm up. So that's what it's all about. It just uses this a little bit of water going around in a loop to heat up. Okay, I hope that made sense to you. Now I want to tell you that all these devices in your packet, you have literature on it, right? But also, if you were to go to the websites of the various manufacturers, they'll have customer videos too, usage videos, and you can learn from those if you choose to. Okay, and of course this is a GFCI. All the plugs are wired to a GFCI, even the one on the outside. Your fan is a 4-speed fan. Always run it on low, or run it period, when you're using the shower. You want to pull the humidity out. These trailers are built super tight, and you don't want to create a climate where you have mold or mildew could grow. So make sure you vent it. The thing to know about the toilet, if you don't know RV toilets, is that directly below is the black tank, right down there. So what you're going to do is when you pull into the campground, right? That's the flush pedal right there, by the way. You pull into the campground, you'll hook up the power in the water, you'll come in here, you'll have your toilet chemical in one hand, 1 dose of it, and you'll dump it right in there, and then you'll step on the flush pedal, because we're hooked up to water. Water's going to come swirling in and go down into the black tank. And you're going to put about a gallon or so in the black tank. There's no way to tell exactly what that is. Just use common sense. You can put more in. Some people use more water than that. But the main thing is you got to have chemical and water in the black tank before you start using the toilet. Otherwise the smell will be serious, and also it can get clogged up. So if you do it, you'll probably only do it once anyway. So keep that in mind. You want water and chemical in there. If you're staying at the campground for another week, let's say, and you had to dump your black tank, after you dump the black tank, you'd come back in here, put a dose of chemical in, and put a gallon of water in there. Okay? Alright. Okay, so let me look around now. I think I've pretty much covered it. Okay, I have. So we'll talk to you about it more when you come to pick it up and all that, so we'll help you out. But first I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. These E-Pros are great trailers. Flagstaffs are great trailers. I'm a big fan of them. So my personal opinion is you made a good decision. I'm not a salesperson, so I actually work on them. So they're very good trailers. Keep in mind what I said about inspecting the roof. Every trailer, no matter who made it, when it was made, has to be inspected. That's just the nature of trailers. So go up there on a regular basis every 90 days and just look it over. Pay attention around the skylight, for example, the lap sealant around the skylight. It gets hotter there, so it tends to get thinner. So look at the corner areas. It could be years before you have to touch anything up. It could be 6 months. You just don't know. Odds are it's going to be a long time, but you're inspecting it just to make sure. And if you do keep it inspected and keep everything good and tight, this thing will be bone dry inside 20 years from now, and that's a fact. So, okay. So please remember to inspect it. When it comes to winterizing the trailer, if you don't know, you'll have to educate yourself a bit on it, but there's plenty of information out there. This is a really good system in the sense that you hook the hose to draw the antifreeze in is hooked up on the door side rear of the trailer, for example. I remember I showed you the ports, and I told you that there was a valve inside that you had to change, that sort of thing. So, okay, all right, thank you very much.